Okay, this is my third attempt to do this recording to finish the how of forgiving, the how to forgive. And I've had a lot of opposition for doing this, and then I could not get back to it after I tried again to record it and it didn't work. So, anyways, this must be a really important message for somebody because the opposition has been real. So I'm just at an appointment waiting in the parking lot for someone to finish their appointment, and I thought I'm just going to do it right now. So hopefully you listen to part one. Part two, the reconvening of that, I'll just kind of backtrack just a little. But basically, to forgive, I've learned that you need to feel. You've got to actually feel what you went through and not suppress that. And so it gets suppressed when we don't deal with it, when we don't know how to deal with stuff. It ends up getting suppressed inside of us, and it doesn't go away until you actually face it. And so I would just say, feel it to heal it. Like, that's part of healing it. And so that experience that I went through that I'm trying to explain to you, there's something called somatic experiencing. So if you've never heard of somatic experiencing, it's basically the physical response that the body has to something that is threatening. So it's not just feeling your feelings. It's not just expressing the words that you wanted to say but you didn't say, because maybe you didn't feel safe to say those words to that person or whatever. You didn't want to be mean to them. It's also like the body literally has things it wants to do in response to trauma. So that could be running from the trauma. It could be, but you weren't able to run because you didn't feel safe to run and get away from the situation. It could be that you wanted to curl up in the fetal position and rock and cry and protect yourself. It could be like maybe one example from like a more common example would be people that have served in like a war. Let's say like a bomb goes off and they didn't have time to react, and their reaction that they wanted to have was to put their arm up and protect themselves when the blast happened, but they didn't have time to do that. And so one thing that can happen with someone who's been through trauma like that is they can get like a nervous like tick in the body where it's like this thing got stuck inside of them. This is like a real thing. Or like the response that the body wanted to have, like like there's a response when you have something threatening you, like something fly at your face, you'll want to close your eyes. That's a natural response to try to protect yourself, right? So they would have noticed that like people who've been like veterans who've been through a war that have some of these like a thing in their shoulder or a nervous tick with their eye or something like that, that something got stuck. They weren't able to protect themselves, throw up their arm, whatever from the thing. And so they have this like stuck in them. And so by allowing your body to do what is stuck inside of it, like what it wanted to do but couldn't do because it didn't feel safe or didn't have time or whatever the thing is, it actually helps release it. And so an example of that from nature is animals, when they feel threatened, they will run to safety. So let's just imagine like a little field mouse. Maybe mice are not something you want to imagine. Let's say a bunny rabbit. Let's imagine a little bunny rabbit is out in the fields and a fox comes along, and the bunny rabbit recognizes that it's in danger. It runs and gets to safety. Maybe it finds a hole to hide in or whatever. It gets away from the fox. Once it's safe, its body will naturally start shaking, and I'm making the thing shake, sorry. It'll start shaking and just get all of that energy out that is from the fear of what it just went through. And as it does that, allows its body will naturally do this. It'll shake and then it will start to reset. And then it resets and the trauma doesn't get trapped and it just moves on with its life. So people can do the same thing. Like, once I learned about this concept, I had what I call a white knuckle experience driving through a snowstorm. I'm sure that many people have had that experience. I had my kids in the car. I was driving to Denver, and it was actually not the time of year where it should have been snowing, but I think it was like June-ish or July. But I got hit in this random storm, and it was very scary. It's always really scary when you have your kids in the car too. It makes it worse. But anyways, it was a white knuckle experience. And as soon as it hit hard, and then I ended up going through a tunnel, and then not long after the tunnel, it stopped. And the sun came out, and it was almost like it didn't happen. Everything started melting. And because I had understood the whole somatic experiencing thing, pulled over. As soon as I could pull over safely, I pulled over, and I allowed my body to just shake. I just let my body just get out all of that energy, because I had to be strong and I had to be brave, and I couldn't, react in the moment because I had to keep my family safe. But then I just let my body just process its feelings. And then I totally felt myself reset, and I went on my way without any nervousness or fear or anything. It was great. So this is a real thing. So allow yourself, when you're going through that process, allow yourself to say the words you want to say, feel the feelings that you feel, express what you need to express, but also let the body do what it needs to do. If it's shaking, if it needs to punch something, if it needs to scream, if it needs to, whatever you need to do. And so I would also recommend doing this process by yourself, because if you can, some people do it with maybe a therapist, and that's fine. But I would say, I don't know if you're like me, but for me to really go there, I need to be alone usually. I've only had one time in my life where I let someone else be near me when I was having one of those moments. And that was pretty recent. And so that's not normally how I operate, because I will filter when someone's around me. I will not really go there because I don't want to scare them. That's probably the main thing. I don't want to scare them, or I don't want them to be hurt or whatever by my process. Because it's not about the other person. It's about you healing. It's about you working through that. And so it's generally, we'll filter if we think someone is going to judge us or get scared of us or whatever. And it is kind of scary to to have somebody go through their process and really feel all their stuff. It's really hard. It's really, really hard. So I recommend finding a quiet place. If that's you, get in your car and you go drive to a place where nobody's going to bug you. Or for me, often it's in my closet, and nobody can hear me. So anyways, fully let yourself express. And then once you have gone through that process, you can kind of feel when I went through mine, the way that it happened is just, for me, like I said, God was with me. And I had the Spirit guiding me through it, bringing back memories, bringing back experiences. It was very guided. It was very guided, and it was very hard. And I had to take breaks. And there were times where I would kind of cry out to God, I can't, I can't keep going. I can't keep doing this. And the Spirit would say to me, you have to finish this. You have to finish this. That came to me several times in that process. And I wanted to, because I wanted to be done with it, but it was really hard. I'm not going to lie. It was hard. But I kept going. And then I got to the last thing, and I could feel that was the last thing that was holding me back. And I went through that one, and I knew when I was done. It was kind of like the Savior when he said it is finished on the cross. I had that same thing. I felt like I had finished, and I dropped to my knees and I started praying, and I kind of imagined in my mind that I was approaching the Savior with this big bag of garbage, all my trauma from my past. And it was this big, Santa Claus's, gift bag, only it was full of trash. And I imagined the Savior standing before me, and I'm taking this load to him, and I kind of put it at his feet, and I look at him and I'm like, take it. I don't want it anymore. And he's smiling. He is smiling at me. And I'm thinking, who smiles when you give them trash? But Jesus does. He smiles because that's what he came for, is to help us and to save us from all of these horrible things and that we face in this life. And so I give it to him. I ask him to take it gratefully and humbly, and he takes it and he's smiling. And it wasn't a very long prayer, actually. I felt when he took it, I felt different. I felt this weight just lift off of me. And I knew I had been healed. Like, I don't know how to explain it other than that. Like, I could feel the difference instantly. And I ended my prayer. I thanked him and I ended my prayer. And I went back into my life like floating. Like, I felt like I did not realize, you don't really realize how heavy these things really are until you're free of them. And I didn't realize how much it was handicapping me until I was free of it. And I served in my church callings. I was being a wife, a mother. I was doing all these things with all of this baggage. And when it was freed from me, I felt so much better. And that didn't mean all my problems were gone. It didn't mean I didn't have current life stuff I needed to work out, but my childhood trauma was resolved. And I could look back after that experience. I could look back on my past without pain. That's how you know that. I'm sorry, I'm so shaky. Because I'm moving while I talk, because I talk with my hands. Anyways, I can't remember if I said this in the first video, because it's been probably like a month since I did that one. But the way you know that you've been healed is when you can look back and there's no pain. And sometimes, I don't know, the further away you get from it after you've healed, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find a good spot. The more you could like look back on it, and it's almost like it was a dream, or almost like it happened to someone else. It's, you know that you had it. It's not like you don't remember the experiences, but like, it's just different. There is zero pain. There's zero pain. It's just like a wound. I think I did talk about this. It's just like a wound. If you can touch it and it doesn't hurt, it's healed. And the beautiful thing about God is when he heals you, you feel it. You feel healed. In fact, you feel like payment has been made in full, and you can't hold that stuff over the heads of those people that have hurt you anymore. And the other thing I noticed is that I had so much compassion on those people that had hurt me. Like, when he healed me, my next thought turned to, I hope that they get healed. Like, I hope that they resolve their own personal stuff, because I wanted that same goodness for their lives. And I think that's very interesting as well. So how to forgive? The key to forgiving, I believe, is first you have to really validate what you went through. So that process that I described, that's validation. You don't need it from other people. You need to validate it. And I recommend doing this with God, because I really don't think that just validating it is enough. You need the second part, which is where you give it to God and he heals you. He's the one who will truly heal you. Like, I don't believe you can be healed without Christ. He's the one that paid for that. He's the one who did all the work to make that a possibility, to fix the problems. And so anyways, that's the how to forgiveness. And if you have questions, I would love to know what your questions are, or any thoughts you have on that. I've utilized this skill over and over and over again since then. This has been a long time. Let's see, probably, oh my goodness, I think I was about 23, 24 or 5 maybe at the most when I had that experience. So I am now currently at this moment 47. So it's been over 20 years, and I have used that skill over and over again, that process. Some things are easy, like some things are not so, and when you don't let things build up, that's the other thing I would like to tell you, because there's a couple things. One, most people are too scared to go through this process because they feel like if I allow myself to go there, it is a dark, bottomless pit that I may never come back from. And so they don't allow themselves to go there. They think that they'll get stuck there. But what I have learned is you don't get stuck there. It's like a wave. Well, I'm not sure exactly how to relate this, but kind of like a wave. You'll start to go up, and it gets scary because it's so big and so intense, but it doesn't stay that way. Once you validate it and feel it, it's like, okay, now I can release. Now I can be done with that. And so, and then, giving it to Christ is the key of finishing that process. But anyways, so it doesn't. It's like the animal that I described to you. When they allow themselves to go through that somatic experience, feel their stuff, it resets them, and there's no trauma connected to it. Trauma, to me, is unresolved stuff. And once you've resolved it, it's healed. Like it's not a trauma thing for you anymore because it's been healed. But things that we haven't faced stay stuck. They don't just disappear. Time does not heal all wounds. That is not truth. It does not. But facing the stuff, and then giving it to God can heal everything, all wounds. And some wounds are deeper and worse than others, and they take more time. And that's where, I was coming back to that. I utilize this skill set for all the things, big, small, everything in between, all of it. And it's the same process, just some experiences aren't as intense because some wounds aren't as deep, right? Some things are faster and easier to work through. And I validate my feelings. I let myself express the way I need to. I let my body feel the way it needs to. I let myself do those things. And then I give it to God, and He heals me. And I might share, that reminds me of an experience years ago. So I don't know if you're like me, but if you are a tender-hearted person, sometimes, because life can be so challenging, you will put up a proverbial wall around your heart to protect yourself. You'll still be kind, still be nice, you'll still serve others, you'll still look outward, but you don't really let people in, like really deeply, because you have been so hurt and betrayed and had not good things happen to you in your life. And people kind of stomp on that little tender heart of yours. And so anyways, I had done that. I was a very, very kind, tender-hearted kid. And then life happens and it hardens you. And anyways, this was probably, oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank exactly, but it was probably about 15 years ago, maybe. I had gotten a new calling at church, and I was going to be teaching adults in Sunday school, and that's very intimidating for me. My comfort zone is children and teenagers, not adults, not my peers. And so I was terrified, actually. But one of my personal policies is to say yes to callings from God. And so I was like, okay. And right at the beginning, I was praying about it, and the Spirit informed me something I didn't know about myself. The Spirit said to me, Amy, there's a wall around your heart, and it needs to come down for you to do my work in the way I want you to do it. You need to come from your heart. And I was like, huh? So I started thinking about this, and I'm like, yeah, I've never thought about that. I've never even considered that before, but yeah, there's probably, you're right. I have a wall around my heart. I'd like to protect myself because, who's going to do that? And I was like, so my response to the Spirit as I was praying, like, was, yes, I need it or I'll get hurt. And the Spirit's response to me was, I will heal you every time. I will heal you every time. That's a quote. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know how to take it down exactly. Like, I don't know how that works. But basically, he just took it down for me. I didn't really have to do anything other than just be willing to, like, let people in and, like, open up my heart again. And his promise was not that I wouldn't get hurt. It was that he would heal me every time. And because I'd had experiences already with, like, the healing that he had been doing for me for my past stuff, I was like, okay, I believe him because he's done it with all these other things. So, okay. So I did let that wall come down, and I did start letting people in. And of course I got hurt again, but true to his word, he has been so true to his word, and he has healed me every time. Some wounds are, like I said, a little deeper and they take more time, but he is true to his word. And as I have sought it and tried to, like, connect with what I'm really feeling and let myself express it when it comes up, I feel like you can't really force it. That's the other thing. Like, don't stress if you can't get it to come out, because I just really feel like you can't force it. Even when you're aware of these things and you've utilized these skills and you know it works, like me, you can't make it. Like, I'm not able to make those things happen. And so I just will say, give yourself some grace. God knows you're trying. If you are actively trying, he will get you there. His timing is perfect. Your timing with it is perfect. And it will happen. It will happen when the timing is right. And you won't have to fake it. You cannot force it. And so when I have stuff come up, I try to be very good about letting it come when it comes. And if I'm not in a place where I can let it come out right then, I tell myself, almost like a parent talking to a kid, I will tell myself, Amy, I hear you. Like, I know you're hurting, and we got to get through this moment, and then I will let you have your moment. So I'm serious, like with because there's times in your life where you have to act like you are brave and strong and nothing gets to you. You have to do that sometimes. And you can't always let yourself go there, but in the moment. But I will just let myself know that I will give myself that space and time as soon as possible. And then I do. I follow up. I do. And so when that stuff comes, let it come. Sometimes you need something to, like, break that open for you. Sometimes for me, music can help me, like certain types of music, and I'm not can reach my heart and open it up and allow me to, like, vent stuff that's been building. Sometimes it's a movie, I don't always know what it's going to be. Sometimes it's a friend, like you're just having a conversation with a friend and it, like, suddenly you feel like, I got to get this out. And, like, that's been helpful for me too sometimes. And so, I just know that if you are sincere in your desire to have this experience, like, really get moving on from your past and your stuff, God will help you, and allow yourself to really feel your feels, experience what you need to. You don't have to abuse anyone. You don't have to take it out on others. You don't ever have to tell other people how they've impacted you. Like, it's actually not part of the process. I've never had to actually do that as part of being able to move on from it. However, you might have an opportunity to let others know how they've impacted you. But if you've already forgiven them, it's going to be a much more positive experience than if you haven't. And I don't know. I'm not telling you what to do or how to do it. This is just something that has helped me. And, sometimes there is value in letting other people see how they've impacted you. That's one of the things that I have been learning over the last year, particularly over the last year, is being a little more open about my connections with others, and how that I actually do get hurt by you, even though I keep showing back up for you with forgiveness in my heart, and let God guide me in that relationship with those people, these other people in my life. Sometimes they might not realize that how much they've hurt me, because I go to him and he heals me, and then I can show back up very real, very authentic, very connected, with my walls down. And they might not think that they've really impacted me. I think that's pretty normal. And so, but I am becoming a little bit better at communicating in hopefully healthy ways. I feel like they're healthier ways of, it's okay to let people know that, ouch, that really hurt, what you just did there. Did you really mean that way? Or, I'm learning how to communicate a little bit more and give people space to recognize that yes, I love you, I'm here, I'm showing up for you, and I don't appreciate this, or that really hurt me. I don't think you meant to do that. Like, can we talk about that? Can we work through that? So I'm working on that. That's my new, discomfort thing that I'm working on, my uncomfortable thing I'm working on. But I do know that you don't have to have that to heal. I do know, and I'm learning, that if I want to have better connections with my loved ones, there's going to need to be some communication, because if they don't understand what they're doing that hurts you, it can't improve. Like, it's not going to improve. So I think there's a time and a place for that. But just so you know, for you to heal and move on, you don't actually have to have anything with that other person as far as conversations about the past. But for a good, healthy connection in the present and going forward, that's a conversation for another day. But there is things you can do that are healthy and that will open up that door to possibly improving that relationship, helping them see what they're doing that they probably don't even realize that they're doing, that's hurting you. And so for me, I feel like I am better capable of having that kind of conversation with someone if I'm coming already to the table with forgiveness in my heart. Does that make sense? So it just keeps me from being clouded, and I can feel it out better on how to interact with that person and what is actually needful, and whether I should say something or not say something. And so you being in a place of forgiveness helps you to be a better instrument in God's hands and in helping relationships and to improve and to heal and to be better and be better connected. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. If I forgot something or started to say something and I didn't finish the thought, let me know. Sometimes that happens. So anyways, thanks guys. And yeah, I'll see you on the next. I don't know when the next one will be, but I'll catch you on the next one.